All right, so we are now back, and this is the most interesting part, bahagian paling menarik lah, because we are going to actually finally be able to talk about the strategies for empowerment and advocacy. So we are going to talk what are the tips and tricks. Now, why is this important? Because we're going to learn at this part, how can we make our children persist no matter how much the teacher ridicules them ke, shuts them down ke, pelekehkan dia ke, our children can persist, be persistent and actually get their answers. Now, we're going to break this down to a couple of sections. So the first section will be ideas for overcoming this dismissiveness. Then we're going to look at how we can reinforce the self-worth and curiosity. Because remember, I was telling you before, it really does impact them. And I've seen so many times in my students before. And then the last part is we're going to see how they can seek support when necessary. So that's 3 parts. Let's get started. Okay, the first part, right? This one, orang yang buat insurance, orang yang buat sales, orang yang, doing all this network marketing, you guys must be very familiar lah. We call that role playing. We call it role playing. So what do we do? Dekat rumah, kita practice. So, kita kata, okay, abang, kalau cikgu cakap macam ni, you cakap apa? Kalau cikgu kata, oh, diamlah, jangan cakap lah, whatever. How are you going to react to that? So, we practice scenarios at home so that children can get used to different kind of scenarios that they will be in, so that when they face it, they tak terkejut beruk lah. They tak macam like, oh my God, what is this? Like, so they are used to this already. And then because of the practice, they can do it in real time. Remember? So we don't want to shock our children. So that's what role playing does. Then the next thing is, okay, let's say lah, kita ada anak yang memang dia kita ajak dia role play pun dia kata tak nak, nangis lah, tak nak, don't want to engage lah, macam-macam. So what we can do, we can try a softer approach. For this, what we can do is we can encourage them to write down the question. Okay, you write down your question and then pass to the teacher when the teacher is done teaching ke, or when the teacher is sitting down ke. So we go and pass the question to the teacher. So this one, even though they're not comfortable asking the questions out loud because they might be like, introvert or really quiet and all that, at least they have an alternative solution. And the best part about writing this question down is in case the teacher still doesn't answer and you are not thinking about switching schools because finance is a limitation, or maybe whatever else lah, that is a limitation. So at least when they come back home, they can give the question to you and you can teach them how do they find these answers, either via their books or via online, or via going to adults like yourself, or going to reputable websites lah. So this, what it will do is it also helps them develop some sort of independence and develop some resilience, because okay, they know that if I cannot get it from this source, I still can find in other sources. Now, the part that is important, I have to emphasize this because I get this a lot during talking to parents. I understand as parents, you're very busy, right? I mean, I completely empathize, because kadang-kadang dah habis kerja, kita penat. Kita macam just need half an hour to rest ke, like we just want to space out. Tapi masa tu lah anak nak tanya soalan. Right? So how do we deal with this? Yang kita tak patut buat. Jangan kata, oh, ini kepada especially to the fathers lah. Jangan kata, pergilah tanya mak. Your mother knows better. Don't push the children away, because it really does impact them. Okay, a better way to do this is you cakap, you communicate lah. I'm really overwhelmed. I'm really stressed out, or I'm really tapped out today. Can you give me an hour or two? I'm just going to take a short nap, and then maybe when I wake up, kita boleh buat soalan ni together. So that's better. Okay, so kita try to make sure at least we are there for them if the teachers are not there. Now, this is provided that you're not switching schools, right? Of course, if you switch to a better school, then this problem is taken care of. The last part, you want to build a supportive network, or you want to encourage your children to build a support network. So how does this work? It's either you try to arrange for friends, your friends' children, ataupun your children look out and form a study group so they can learn from their peers. Okay, learning from peers, we talked about earlier, we touched about it a little bit, we talked about social learning. So even though at Past Excel, the classes are super engaging, because how we do it is it's the whole class is done via question and answer session. So it's very two-way, super engaging. Even for classes like this, we still have a slot called P2P, which means peer-to-peer. Every week they learn with their peers, because you know lah, kids these days, right? If you want to get them to form a study group on their own, maybe tak jadi lah. So we form it for them, and then the teacher monitors like how they do it. So the teacher doesn't teach during the sessions, they are learning from each other. So we have a student mentor, and then we have a buddy, right? This buddy system is there. Why do we even do this? Because it's super effective. Because learning from your friend it's a different perspective from learning from a teacher, right? And it works both ways. So if your child is the smarter one, don't think it is damaging to them or a waste of time. Because what happens when your child who is smarter teaches a weaker child, they have to change the way they teach in different ways until the student understands, right? Until their friend understands. So they develop different perspectives. And when you teach it again and again, it becomes strengthened in your own mind. So sebab tu orang dulu kata, jangan kedekut ilmu lah, right? So that's exactly why we do it as well. Now, the second one that we want to talk about today is about reinforcing self-worth and curiosity. Okay, cikgu kat sekolah dah buat macam ni kan. So at home, what we want to do is we want to remind our children that their worth, their intelligence is not defined by that teacher's inability to appreciate their question. We want to make sure that our child understand that curiosity is strength. Because in today's world where things are changing so fast, AI is definitely going to replace most jobs. That curiosity, that ability to learn, that wanting to learn is what's going to put them at the top tier. So you remind them that their curiosity is worth a lot, that you can do that by celebrating that at home, right? So how can you celebrate at home? How can you do that? So every time a child asks a question, dramatic lah sikit. Wow, that's a really good question. I wonder how you got that question. Why did you think about that? That's a really good question. Let's find an answer for that, right? You show enthusiasm, you show interest for the things that they want to learn about. Okay, this is public service announcement lah, yeah? Okay, if you don't develop enthusiasm for what they like or what is in common, right, between you, or you don't try to find common ground, you will be surprised, that then after they turn 20, 25, they don't want to talk to you anymore. You don't have any common ground. Lagi teruk dah jadi 30, 35, dia tengok you, dia rasa macam dia tengok stranger. And I see this a lot in parents, right? So it's very important that we, early on itself, we develop this common ground. How can we do that? Celebrate their successes. Be interested in things that they're interested in. At least find common ground lah, right? Okay, the last part, kita nak buat seeking support when necessary. So, we want to teach our children that if you cannot find support from your teacher, and then seek it elsewhere. And where is that place? Kita kena specify so that they don't seek it from the wrong sources, right? So we say counselors, principals, or maybe you have other teachers. If they're constantly feeling dismissed, they can seek help from all these other adults. So we want to teach our children that so that they are not lost when it happens to them. All right? Now, having said all this, I want to bring all this together on how do we integrate this at Past Excel. So first thing, I already mentioned to you that our classes are super engaging, it's 2 ways and everything, right? How do we just run classes based on question and answers? Now, must be curious, right? Impossible. Cikgu selalunya mengajar, kan? But I personally think, like, when teachers do that, it's such a waste of time because you can, everything that, if you're going to be a parent, might as well the child watches a YouTube video, right? And the child will be more interested, or, TikTok Reels or whatever. The child's not interested. You cannot beat what some of the best teachers are teaching on YouTube. So how do we do it here at Past Excel? It's very different. Before you come in, you will watch something we call a pre-class material. It'll be a very short video, 5 minutes, whatever. So what this does is it creates mental hook in the child. So like it's already something is there. Even though it's blurred, it's not clear, you just watch a very short video, at least you know what it is. You've been introduced to the material. Then after you do that, they are then required to play a game. So when you're playing the game, unknown to that child, the teacher knows which answer you're clicking. It's a quiz, game, kind of a thing, So the teacher knows, okay, these are your answers the first time round. And after you're done, the system always prompts the child, okay, do you want to try again? Because they have a leaderboard, right? So they know where are they scoring against their classmates. So they can play again. We build resilience. We build them to keep trying, to continuously improve. So the teacher also knows how many times did a child try. So that tells me how much effort you have. And I also know at every single time which are the questions you got wrong. And for the whole class, I know where certain things most students don't understand, certain thing only your child doesn't understand. I already know before the student even steps into the class. So as a teacher, my job once they are in the class is to fix their understanding. So I ask them, okay, why did you answer this question like this? What did you think about this? What did you think about that? Why is the reason why you think about this? So eventually by active questioning, we encourage them to speak up, we build their confidence, and like I said, the questions make their memory stronger, their ability to retrieve stronger, and they eventually fall in love with learning. Now, not only that, remember I was telling you they play the game. When they click the wrong answer, they immediately told this is the wrong answer. So they don't have to wait for the teacher to mark and come back to them and everything. That's at least a pre-class assessment. And then when we do the homework and all that, the teacher marks and they get personalized homework based on their strengths and weaknesses, and also they get personalized feedback on what is it that they need to improve. So all this actually brings you to a very personalized education. Okay, kita tengok kalau kita pergi sekolah lain, kita pergi sekolah traditional, even a physical school, of course, yes, physical schools, they would have like debate clubs, they would have public speaking competition, you know, they might have a lot of things, right? But who goes for all this competition? Not every single student, all right? Because they will pick the best, and then the best gets to go and participate in these activities. So kalau anak tuan puan jenis yang pemalu ke, jenis yang memang tak nak participate ke, they get left out despite you paying premium fees for international school, right? Right here at Pass Excel, what happens is every single student goes for these things. Every single student is required to participate because no matter what, exposure to this builds your confidence, right? So, okay, tak apa, you introvert, you tak nak try, it's okay, you just give it a try. No matter how bad you are, at least you know what it is. So we personalize it, you know, we differentiate the levels, so we make sure they are given the correct challenges so they can develop themselves. And most importantly, you would have noticed that I've been talking about the discovery session and the strategy call and how many sections there are in the discovery session. You can definitely check it out on our website. But what I want to emphasize here is because we understand the student and the parents' needs so well, and then we pass it over, all this this information is, the teachers are briefed, yeah. So the teacher knows each student's dreams, aspirations, fears, strengths, weaknesses. So when the teacher is in class, the teacher is able to nurture the student's self-esteem, the motivation, and they know what are the tips to use, what are the strategies to use to psychologically motivate the student as well, and to, you know, to make sure their emotional needs are met. So through all this, we managed to build a very resilient community of students. So, you know, if you want to check us out, please go ahead, go to YouTube. You can see what other parents have said about us and whatever not, right? Now, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Now, what I have to leave you with, I hope this has been extremely valuable for you. We've tried to do a lot of research so that we bring something that is useful for you. I really would love that if you could leave us with any questions, either regarding how to implement the systems and strategies, you know, if you have other problems, whatever it is, leave it in the comment section below, share it with whoever who might need to hear this. And we hope to see you really soon in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.